Hey YouTube, it's Al, Orton with Realty. I'm here with Karen Eckford from First Palmetto in Camden, South Carolina. We're going to go behind the scenes on getting your qualification for your pre-approval for your being a first-time buyer or being a buyer in general. Karen, tell us about what you do.
Well, thank you, Al, for this opportunity. I've been in banking for 50 years now and have spent a lot of time helping just what you say. Individuals look to buy their homes, buy another home, so all types of real estate financing. Plus, I do a lot of consumer lending on the other things too.
And Karen's been a staple in the Camden community, and she is a past client. So really great to have her here to answer some questions to help educate for those who are starting the process, or for those of us who honestly don't understand all the aspects of what happens when we send someone to a bank for a pre-approval. I take a lot of calls every day about why it's important to have your financing and your pre-qualification done before you go on a home search. In your world, why is that important?
Well, there are a couple of reasons. First of all, we need to make sure that you are shopping for the right price range, because it's really not just about the cost of the house. There are other things that go into that. You've got to make sure that you're prepared for taxes and insurance, that your income level will support that, as well as all the other things that come with home ownership. So that's important. The second thing is we're going to look at credit history, because that gives us a roadmap of how you've taken care of obligations in the past so that we can forecast how that's going to look, excuse me, going forward. So those two. And then we're going to look at work employment history.
One thing that we run across is I'd like to see the house and then I'll go talk to my bank. And as backwards as that sounds in our world, it is not the right way. We've got to know, like Karen said, how much house can you afford, so that we're not showing you houses that are outside your price range.
Because we all know once we see that one that's out of our price range, that's what we want.
Sure. And in my world, when I have the buyer, they fall in love with the house, they don't have a pre-qualification, they're financing it right, there's somebody else who's fallen in love with that house and they're ready to make an offer as a qualified buyer. My unqualified buyers lose easily 9 times out of 10. What documents would you be asking for if I asked for you to give me a pre-qualification?
That's a great question. So we're first going to look to tax returns. We're also going to need pay stub, W-2s, that sort of thing, because it's our job to be able to support the information that we underwrite based on the information that's reported to the government. So those are the types of things we're looking for.
So in this process, how long, once you receive that information, okay, all the things you asked for, how long does it take for me to get pre-qualified?
A pre-qualification can take very little time. You can know something within 24 hours, maybe sooner. Because the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval, pre-qualification doesn't really include underwriting. It just includes looking on the surface. We may pull your credit report, but we're not going to do the deep dive into confirming all the other information that we have to confirm.
Okay, and is that would be the definition of underwriting?
Underwriting is where we actually use the information that the borrower has provided to substantiate that with what they report to the government. And also we use that in conjunction with their credit report to calculate what we call their debt ratio. So the debt ratio, very simply, how much of the income that you have coming in every month is required to go out to meet obligations. And how does a new house payment factor into that? Maybe it's replacing a rent payment now. But if the rent payment is less, we got to make sure that based on what you're looking for, you can still support that along with everything else that you are obligated for.
Okay, cool. So there's a lot of loan types out there. Can you quickly go over what do those loan types look like, whether they're government backed, whether they're conventional? What can you tell us about a simple overview of loan types?
That's another great question. So there are all types of products. There are products specifically for first-time home buyers, which for the most part require less down payment than some of the other programs. Conventional is going to require somewhere between 10, 15, 20%, depending on what you're buying, what you're looking at.
And that's 20% of the purchase
Of
price.
the purchase price, right. That's
At
your
closing.
equity that you have to contribute at closing. Now, there are also some products for specific types of individuals in certain industries. There are a big variety of loans for like professionals, physicians, nurses, first responders, teachers. So that's another good question to ask when someone's shopping for a mortgage product is if you fit into one of those categories, find out if they offer, and if so, what are the particulars and requirements for that loan.
Okay. So I know that certain home types may not fit all loan types.
Mm-hmm.
So, for an example, a government-backed loan like a VA or an FHA
Mm-hmm.
would not take a house that's being sold as is, where the seller says, I'm not going to make any repairs.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect somebody who says, hey, I'm pretty handy.
Yeah.
I can go in and fix that house up myself,
Mm-hmm.
but my financing is VA.
So I would definitely talk to the lender first, because unless there's a product that is specifically for purchase and renovations, you need to know all the ins and outs of that first, because most lending institutions that I'm aware of require a licensed builder to do improvements to certain specifications. You can't just do the work yourself and get approved for that.
And that's something that through the process, your realtor, your agent will guide you through, whether it's this is not the house that fits your loan type,
Mm-hmm.
or, we're going to have to get X, Y, and Z. For the first time home buyer, I will tell you, unless you've got the cash ready to go, an as-is sale,
Mm-hmm.
or a sale, a foreclosure sale,
Or
a short sale is not the way to go. So, in our world, there's three major components of people that are going to help you with your real estate transaction. The real estate agent is going to help you find the home, negotiate the contract, negotiate all the things in between contract to closing. That's repairs that need to be made. The seller may or may not want to. They're gonna speak with your lender on your behalf to make sure everything's moving along smoothly. So, from a financial partner, Karen, what from that pre-approval to close, what's your relationship like with that client?
It's basically the same as you mentioned. Now we're going to stay side by side with them throughout the whole process. As things arise, if there's questions, we'll be in touch. We follow very closely when the attorney is doing all the title examination and preparing for closing, if there are issues with the title, so that we can address those immediately. And we clearly follow up with appraisers, because sometimes it takes a little bit.
Okay.
And most closings happen most people would like them in a relatively short period of time. So if there's any kind of issue that pops up, we're in touch with our borrower sometimes daily. It just depends on the situation.
So, Karen, to wrap up, let's say I've got a client.
Okay.
We've got them qualified,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times they start with the referral from your realtor. If you don't already have a working relationship with your bank, we deal with a lot of awesome realtor,
Mm-hmm.
financial partners here in Camden. Karen's just one of them. But we'll get them qualified. All right, we find them the house.
Mm-hmm.
We've negotiated the contract, and they are waiting the general 30 to 45 days for closing to happen, so that the underwriting can go on, the inspections can be made.
Mm-hmm.
So, Karen, wouldn't you say this is the perfect time to go down to your car dealership and finance a new automobile?
Yeah, no. Because what's going to happen is that's going to mess up everything from the beginning. Because when you were qualified, we based it on what your debt situation was at the time. Remember, we talked about that, and your income, etc. So if you go out and you buy a new vehicle, or you take out a new credit card, or you do anything that's
Or
going
you
to
switch jobs.
absolutely, that's another big one. Wait until after the closing and then accept the new job offer, because it really will botch things up. A lot of times you have to start all the way over. So I would not advise that at all.
Awesome. Well, Karen, thanks for taking the time. We're painting with broad brushes, because there's always questions, but I deal with a lot of people that just haven't had the opportunity to ask them before. So if you found this helpful, if you found it informative, hit subscribe, click the bell, sign up for notifications. We're going to have a lot of really good educational videos on our YouTube channel here at Grand Realty. I appreciate you watching. Looking forward to seeing you. And if you got questions or comments, leave them right down below. 12 minutes, one take with my mother-in-law. I'd say that's how you do it.